Welcome to another episode of Get Your Mind Right, Get Focused. In this week's episode, I want to talk about finding your own lane. Now, last week, I left you with 3 questions that I wanted you to answer for yourself. Number 1 was, I wanted you to figure out, what is it that you want? And then number 2, I wanted you to figure out, what would it take for you to actually get that? And then number 3, I wanted you to ask yourself, are you willing to take the necessary steps to make that happen? Now, this is perfect for this week's episode, Finding Your Own Lane, because just recently, I had a young man come and ask me, what would it take for him to get started in the graphic design and t-shirt business? Now, mind you, this young man has attempted numerous of different types of businesses. So I asked him, what happened to the last business that you were doing? And he said, oh, I'm still doing it. It's just that I'm looking to do something more lucrative and stable. And I see that you've been doing the t-shirt business for quite some time now, and I see that it's working for you. So I figured, why not I give it a try? So then I asked him, do you have any experience in graphic design? He said, no. I said, have you ever worked with Photoshop or any other graphic design software? And he said, no. Now, let me tell you something, all right? Because this right here bothers me. Just because you see someone else doing something and it looks easy to you from the outside looking in, number 1 doesn't mean that it's easy. And then number 2, it doesn't mean that it's a thing for you to do. So next I asked this young man, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it like that you like doing? Something that you enjoy that comes easy to you. He told me what it was. So then I said, then why aren't you doing that? His answer was, I've already tried that and it just wasn't working. The money wasn't coming in quick enough. You know, I have a family, I have kids to feed. This brings about another concern. Because if you're not willing to stick it out when you hit those rough patches, those high points and those low points, doing the thing that you actually enjoy doing, the thing that you say that you're passionate about and comes easy to you, if you're not willing to stick it out through that, what makes you think that you're going to stick it out doing something that you have no talent, 0 skills in, and that you're not even passionate about? What that basically says is that you're just trying to jump on the bandwagon of someone else. You're looking for a quick fix. That's what you're doing. And then the other thing that it says is that you're just plain point blank lazy. All right? If you're looking for a quick fix, then what you need to do is go down to the unemployment office and look for a 9 to 5. That's what you need to do, because that's a guaranteed paycheck. When you're looking to step out on your own and be your own boss and do your own thing, there are no guarantees. All right? I don't just do t-shirts. I do a number of things. And it's not just about doing graphic design. It's about paying bills. Okay? It's not just about me getting up and creating things and then putting it together and then making a quick dollar. That dollar doesn't go in my pocket. That dollar goes towards keeping my business afloat. So the other aspect of things are, when you figure out what it is that you want, it has to be something that you're willing to go through the highs and the lows, all the trials and tribulations with. You have to be willing to stick it out. If you're not willing to do that, then it's not for you. It's just not. And it's okay to admit that that's not for me. Someone told me once before that everyone's not meant to be a boss, but you're going to have a lot of people who's going to look and see what it is that you're doing, and they're going to think that they can do it as well. Then they're going to go out and they're going to buy this, that, and the third, and then a month or 2 later, they're going to be selling it all. Man, do you know how many times I have witnessed that since I've been doing this on a professional level? You see, this is my lane. This is what I enjoy doing. Nobody taught me how to do what it is that I do. This is self-taught. I've been doing graphic design since I was a kid in grade school. I'm from back in the day of the b-boys, all right? Breakdancing, graffiti artists. I was back from that era. I've been doing graphic design since I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. And it just escalated over the years. You cannot compare yourself to me. There are people out there who I can't compare myself with, and I don't try and compare myself to anyone. I don't do this for the money. I do it because I actually enjoy it, because I'm really passionate about it. And then the money just comes. That's the beauty of it. Okay? That's why I asked, what is it that you're passionate about? That's why I asked you, figure out what it is that you want. Figure out what it would take for you to get it. Then ask yourself, are you willing to take the necessary steps to make it happen? If you are not willing to take the necessary steps to make it happen, then that's not what you want. And then the other thing, when it's something that you know that you want to do, you wouldn't be coming and asking me, how do I go about getting started? You just make it happen. You see, I didn't ask nobody, how can I go about getting it started? I started looking for a vacant spot. And then I went and I tracked down the landlord. And then I set up a meeting with him. And then I gave him a deposit in the first month's rent. And then I sat in that store thinking like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna actually make this look like something? That's where that negativity comes in and tries to throw you off. I shot that to the side. I said, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna set up all my racks and I'm gonna leave them empty. And then I'm just gonna fill one up at a time. And then every time I filled up one, it made me feel much more empowered. It made me feel more better about myself. And then before I knew it, I had a full store of merchandise. I went from a small room in my house doing this as a hobby to a full-fledged store doing it as a business. I've been doing this professionally for 7 years. I've been doing graphic design for over 30 years, if not more than that. So my point is, just because you see somebody else doing something and it looks easy to you from the outside looking in, doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. You don't see the struggle. You don't see the hard times. You don't see the pain. You don't see the tears. You don't see the wanting to give up and quit, but just keep pushing. You don't see none of that. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out what it would take for you to get it. And then make sure that it's something that you're willing to do. Make sure it's something that you're willing to take all the necessary steps and make happen. I don't care what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's acting, whether it's whatever it is. Okay? Make sure that you're passionate about it. Make sure you're willing to go all out with it. I'm not saying quit your day job. Don't do that. I didn't quit my day job. I just acted like I just made this a second job until this became my day job. Okay? You have to play your cards right. Find your own lane. Don't worry about what other people say. Don't worry about what other people think. It doesn't matter. Even with me doing this public speaking, I have people in my ear all the time telling me, you should do this, you should do that. You're not doing this right, you're not doing that. And I let it get to me at times, but you know what? I'm at a point right now where I have to say, forget all of that. I'm not hearing none of that. I'm gonna do it the way that I see it. And then when that time for me to get to that point comes, it'll come on its own. But this is where I'm at right now. This is my lane. Then they get mad when I tell them, if you see it should be done like that, then you do it. And then I'll sit in the audience and applaud you, all right? In the meantime, leave me alone and let me do what it is that I'm doing. And that's what you tell the people who are telling you, those naysayers that want to sit and say, you're not doing it right. You need to do it this way. Man, bumps all that. Find your own lane. Figure out what it is that you want, what it's going to take to get it, and go and get it. Make that happen, all right? This your boy Herb Smith saying it's time to get your mind right and get focused. Peace, and I'm out.